And we welcome our viewers on Eurosport to the start of the German Masters semi-finals. The first match, of course, Kyren Wilson against Jiahui. Kyren, a former champion in this event. C appearing in his second ranking semi-final, having gone to the Crucible last season, of course. And Kyren Wilson starting superbly with a break of 97, having missed a black early in that opening frame. Looking to build on that, but very early stages of this second frame. It's now the best of 11, of course, the first to 6 to go through to the final tomorrow, the title match and a meeting with either Judd Trump or Sam Craigie. And they do battle this evening from 7 o'clock UK time. Just about room for the red. For C, who's looking for his first win over Kyren Wilson in this, their 5th meeting. C, who of course dodged a bullet in qualifying for this tournament. He was 4 down with 5 to play against Liu Haoshan, but then reeled off 5 in a row, allowing Liu only 58 points in those last 5 frames, including a couple of centuries, and he's not looked back. Since then he's beaten Mark Joyce 5-1, Alfie Davis 5-1, Yuan Sijun 5-3, and then yesterday, I should say, Ryan Day by 5 frames to 1. He had a slight scare at the back end of that match because Ryan needed a snooker and C went in off, and Day had the chance to punish for 4-2, but it wasn't to be.
9.
He was devastating at the Crucible on his way to that semi-final, and very nearly, of course, the final. 14-5 up on Luca Brissell before the mother of all comebacks in Sheffield. But his long potting, his break building was fantastic. Now, looks as though that's gone wrong.
14.
Yeah, cue ball stuck in the bunch of reds. I suppose the question is, of course we'll never know the answer to, could he have beaten Mark Selby in the final? Or was he just running out of steam a little bit, hence the reason he threw away that 9-frame advantage? There was a green in the end of the 3rd session, towards the end, from its spot which he missed, where he got really annoyed about it, banged the table, and kind of the wheel fell off after that. But he was, I think that one shot, when he was clearing up to win another frame, just a green into its own spot, cue ball relatively behind it, things turned on its head, and you wouldn't think in a 33-frame match you could remember one shot, but most people would remember that same particular shot on the green. Anyhow, it's taken him a while to regroup. He hasn't had the best of seasons, but the talent is there, that we know. Didn't sound great, did it? Sound like something was hit with the cue, but it might be just the cue was hitting the spider. But the kind of noise it's made when the cue hits a ball, I'm not suggesting for 1 second that's what happened, because no foul was called. It didn't sound quite right.
Hang on. Wow, we've seen 1 or 2 of those in recent times.
Oh, what an extraordinary fluke to get. I mean, that is a humongous fluke, isn't it?
I think 1 or 2 of the audience were clapping what they thought was a successful double here from Kyren Wilson. In the end it was, but not in the orthodox fashion.
And the red just snaked along the cushion. Well, it isn't as bad as it first looks. Got a red perhaps up into that top left pocket.
8.
Queuing over the black doesn't make it easy, though. This fluke might end up significant if he scores from it, and Jiahui will have stored it. He knows about it. He won't forget it in a hurry, that fluke. It was a spectacular one. Again, over a ball, though.
I think Wilson feels that he's been playing pretty well this season. He just hasn't quite got the results to go with some decent
16.
form. He's had some pretty difficult losses to swallow, not least that one at the UK Championship when he was 4 up with 5 to play against Jamie Clark and lost.
17.
I don't think he meant to be quite this close to the black, but even then the angle is all right.
Had a terrific scrap with Judd Trump at the Masters and seemed to be on his way to victory. It's a bit unlucky to leave Trump a space for him to conjure
24.
an excellent break to deny him in the decider there. So he's had a few knocks this season, but he is very tough between the ears, Kyren Wilson. It's one of his great assets. He's a terrific competitor. Works very hard, as we know,
25.
away from the match table to maximise his potential. And it's all come together for him so far this week.
Thirty-two. Thirty-three.
He's moved himself up from 35 on the one-year list with his performances thus far to 29. If he were to go on to win the tournament this weekend, then he'd be in the Players' Championship. But that's not quite gone as he'd hoped.
No, but he has the backup red up the table, which is coming in
40.
handy. Yes, because any of the 3 players, aside from Judd Trump, who's right at the top of that list, should they win, they would be in the 32, wouldn't they? Craigie, Jiahui, Kyren, they're all in the same boat. There is another tournament to go as well, the Welsh, before that event, so there's a last opportunity to get in the event. But if any of those 3 won it, they would just about be guaranteed
41.
playing Telford in the Players. Anyway, today is all about this German Masters and a chance to be in the final.
Yeah, it's a measure of Trump's dominance so far this season, and he's wrapped up that £150,000 European bonus with a tournament to spare. And again, it's gone wrong.
Yeah, but he can't really say, well, I'm unlucky there after getting an absolute monster fluke at the start.
47.
It just could be the fluke has not won in the frame. He's got a good lead, though, and we know that, 32
Kyren Wilson,
points. But
47.
where the balls are, one Jiahui pot and a chance to get in would almost make him favoured in the frame. Not saying the pot is about to happen here. Kyren Wilson will recognise some danger in this situation. The balls are a little bit too friendly, I think, where they're placed with a possible counter-attack. That's not the perfect safety shot. Now, Jiahui was knocking these reds in at the Crucible, and he has been this week, but this is an important one early in this match. he's going to have to play it. It's quite straight, offers plenty in the way of value. He didn't get the fluke. He didn't fancy it for some reason. I was surprised. I thought it'd be right up his street, that shot, but he shook his head a few times, looked at other options, but surely the only shot he had was to go for the red.
It's the kind of pot he barely missed on his way to semi-finals at the World Championship. His long game was devastating. But what a chance Kyren Wilson now has already. 32 to the good. 75 left, but the red's out in the open to double his lead.
He'd be very disappointed if he didn't take the frame at this visit. Obviously the problem is that they both had was the black didn't pot to the right corner. That maybe was the reason that Jiahui was not pleased with the shot. Had the black been potable to the right corner, he probably would have taken it immediately.
Seven. 8. Ten. 11.
So, another frame looks to be on the board if this goes in, and I would be surprised if he missed it.
16.
Good start for Kyren. The form he's been in
17.
this week, it's been pretty noticeable, just the way he's been getting through these matches, breezing through. Jiahui was probably going to be the biggest threat. He still is, I'd say, because he's been doing well. Playing some terrific stuff. Because he was 4-0 down in the qualifying for this pre-Christmas, but 1-5-4. So maybe he felt up for none. But this is not the start he was hoping for tonight. Today, rather.
Wilson, 23.
Wilson misses with the rest, but it's academic. Jiahui knows there's not enough points there to come back into frame two. It's an 8th consecutive frame now for Wilson here at the Templedrum this week. Great start for the former champion. He leads Jiahui by 2 frames to 0. Semi-finals day is underway here at the Templedrum in Berlin. Kyren Wilson's made a great start, a superb 97 break in the first frame. He got a bit lucky at the start of the second. He fluked to red, having attempted to double it across the table into the right centre. It went into the green pocket. That didn't win him the frame, but it certainly enabled him to build a useful lead, which he then converted. Jiahui missing a red from just off straight, close to the side cushion into the left corner. So 2-0, 6 the target. Micah Kessler having a look. In this, their 5th meeting, Wilson has won the previous 4. Looking for a 2nd German Masters title. A 6th in all, and a 4th here in Germany. Most recently, of course, he was successful at the European Masters in the early stages of last season when he beat Barry Hawkins in Firth.
touching ball.
Playing away from the reds he was touching. I just want to keep things very tight. Now that he's picked the first 2 frames up, Kyren Wilson, he won't be looking to present anything to him. Well, he had no control over where the red was going to go, that he missed. But I think he felt that nothing else could be left. But thankfully for Jiahui, the red has gone safe. Well, he's pretty reliable on those sort of shots, especially at the moment. And yeah, it was evident, I think, earlier in the season that his form wasn't really there. Can't just turn it on like a tap at this game. But when it does come, and it seems that it has, you've got to fill his boots and try and make the best of it. Especially someone like Kyren, who would have looked forward to coming here, as we've spoken enough about it, but his record is so good in Germany. I bet you this event has been quite high on his list of things to do, places to be.
Five.
And he's well equipped to deal with a pretty pulsating atmosphere. In the Tempodrome, it's superb. But he's been there before and done it.
Ten.
Now, the question of which red are we playing on from his next colour, probably the blue. The pink's above the red, so it wouldn't be an easy shot to go from blue into the bunch, with the pinks almost protecting them. So which
11.
red would he play? I mean, he might play into the pink full on. But if he doesn't catch it squarely, the cube will just veer off at an angle. I think that's very good. Very good contact. Has he left himself on something?
16.
Judging by that expression, he hasn't.
That's where a bit of luck comes into play. He had some early in the second frame when he fluked the red off the jaw of the centre pocket. Couldn't have hit those any better. Smack on the nose of the pink. May only have a plant here.
Strange shot, wasn't it? He played. I mean, he must
Kyren
have.
Wilson, 16.
Seeing that again, all I can think of is he must have played to hit it off the cushion and in off the red, but he got nowhere near that. Here's a shot now. What did he try? They couldn't play the plant, so he obviously tried to sort of squeeze the red behind the other one, in off it, into the same pocket, but made a bit of a mess of it, quite honestly. Well, we see many players switching hands these days. It looks like Jiahui wants to play this shot left-handed, but it's a tricky little shot to get the cue ball out of there onto a colour. Good shot.
He's not been seriously threatened since arriving in Berlin after that extraordinary turnaround in qualifying against Liu Haoshan when he was 4 down with 5 to play. Yuan Sejun pushed him closest, 5-3. Last night, 5-1 over Ryan Day.
Well, he's played the first 2 shots of this break left-handed.
3.
The cue ball needs to be under control here. Doesn't want it to fly up into the bulk area. Easy to slow down. That's fine. He really could do with this frame. He needs to make an impression here, given he hasn't had that many chances. Kyren has kept him fairly quiet. Well, there was a gap, and he's now found it somehow.
7.
He didn't really play on anything specifically, I don't think. He just tried to hit reds, but he hit nothing.
Jiahui, 7.
Well, he got a nice little flick on the yellow ball, which helped, because that is the reason he not left that red on. An anxious look from Kyren as he walked back to his chair, whether he'd covered that red closest to the right corner. I don't think he may have done. Yeah, there's no pot on there. It's all a bit congested amongst those 3 reds down this side of the table. Is he going to play the plant? It looks tough, I think. He's going to play the middle red, I think, onto the other one, but this could easily go wrong. Very good. I mean, I'll be honest, the standard of some of the plants you see played nowadays, I saw Sam Craigie put a terrific one last night. Sometimes reds a foot apart, not in line to the pocket, doesn't seem to faze anybody. This time it was the cue ball that was a long way from the first red, which made it more difficult. Still went in.
So he first turned pro via the Q School Order of Merit back in 2019. He did slip off the tour a couple of years later, but then won the WSF Championship to return in 2022.
6.
reached the last stage of the European Masters last season, and then, of course, that extraordinary run at the Crucible when he beat Sean Murphy, who'd been in great form in a classic first-round match that went all the way. Rob Milkins, who'd just won the Welsh Open convincingly, and then a thriller with Anthony McGill before that extraordinary turnaround against Luca Brissell from
Jiahui
just
6.
3 frames from victory at 14-5.
Well, there's one thing these two have in common, isn't it? That they've beaten Anthony McGill in a very close, very soul-destroying defeat for the person on the receiving end at the Crucible. 13-12 against McGill, and of course the Kyren win against McGill. Well, I think we need about half an hour to talk through that one. All the things happened in that last frame. It's a mistake, a big one, especially if Reds go to the right corner. Nothing in it in the frame.
7.
The ball's not necessarily that easy to make a significant break from. Oh dear, well, there's a miss he could do without. He
Jiahui
hasn't
7.
really settled yet. Surprisingly miss this one, the way he pots in general.
See, Jiahui has missed 6 balls already this afternoon. His highest break just 14. He has had 1 or 2 chances, but so far nothing doing. That was overcut by a margin, though, by Kyren Wilson. It wasn't easy, but he didn't get close.
Yeah, both missing not dissimilar shots there. This one probably more difficult and more of a cutback than the one that Jiahui missed, but they overcut them both. It's not bad. I think there might be a gap through past the green. Huge crowd in it here in Berlin. And the final will be no different tomorrow. The second semi-final tonight with Judd Trump playing Sam Craigie, guaranteed to be full.
Can actually hold up to 3,500 people, this venue. Just got a bit edgy, hasn't it?
The big frame for them both, especially for Jiahui. Play a direct screw back. Got cue power he's going to have to show here. Oh dear, that's not good. That is not good. He hit it off straight and the cue ball doesn't come directly back down the table that way. It's a bit of a nervy start for sure that he's made into this match. That is a good shot though. Second prize because he'd much rather still be at the table.
touching ball.
So touching ball, he can play away, and he'd like to get in behind the pink and yellow again. The fact that he hasn't got to hit a red at all. Wasn't a great shot because he's left Kyren a red that he feels is a shot to nothing here. Top of the little cluster of a few reds. Red to the left corner, there's 5 reds. Shouldn't really have been left that from where CGL was with the touching ball. Good cue ball this time, however. I mean, he kind of went for the pot, but he knew the cue ball was possible to steer it around into a position of strength for him.
Foul, miss. Jiahui
I
4.
suspect he'll go back, but either way, I don't foresee much damage being done when he eventually hits it. It's a question of how many points he takes to do so. He's got the line of the shot, and if he hits it at a little bit more pace, but not too much more, then he'll have completed the escape. Is this hard enough? No.
Foul, miss.
You never know, these few points
4.
might be significant towards the end of this frame. Well, same again, isn't it?
Foul, miss.
Didn't reach. I must say, got a little bit closer to reaching than I first thought, but either way, he's still 4 away. This is attempt number 4 coming up. See, it was probably a couple of millimetres away from hitting at the end. Maybe a bit more than that. This is played with more pace anyhow.
Does this red go? It looks like it does. Wilson, you could tell, was a bit concerned that he'd overcooked the escape this time, and he was right to be, but can see get on a colour.
Yeah, I mean, it might explain why Kyren was playing it so gently, because he was worried about pushing a ball on, in fairness. And it only just passed the other red. Well, it's a question of the pot and also just getting the cue ball around the angles. he takes on the yellow or the pink. Blue is more of a straightforward positional shot, maybe a slightly more difficult pot, reaching across.
Six.
Just looking for something to settle himself into this match. It's been a slightly indifferent start from Jiahui. A number of potting mistakes, but if he can just get this frame on the board, even though it's not pretty, it doesn't matter. He'll just feel part of the semi-final. He's looking to break new ground in more ways than one, of course, today. His first final appearance. And in the process, first win over Kyren Wilson in 5 attempts.
Chain. 14.
Yes, absolutely. He needs to win this frame, all right.
20.
And those penalty points which have helped him, it means he needs slightly fewer reds from this point on. He'd be 44 in front when this is potted. Just needs another red. So the point did kind of help him. When you think that the other two reds are in relatively safe places, which he doesn't now require.
27.
This is his highest break so far. Looks like it's going to be a clinching one. Every shot being cheered by this crowd. They're living every moment. Absolutely love their snooker here. And the players love demonstrating their skills in front of them. And this frame should now be well and truly Jiahui's. Both players have made a few mistakes in this
34.
one. But C needed it just to settle those semi-final nerves.
Jiahui, 34.
So 51 the difference. Kyren Wilson needs a couple of snookers to tie. Well, whatever happened there, it wasn't what Kyren Wilson had in mind, and he's duly conceded. So, Jiahui gets himself involved in our first German Masters semi-final and halves the deficit. Kyren Wilson now leading by 2 frames to 1, with 6 the target for a place in the final and a meeting with either Judd Trump or Sam Craig. Kyren Wilson 2, Jiahui 1. Kyren Wilson starting with a break of 97, adding a 47 in the second. Jiahui's best contribution, just 34 so far, but that helped him over the line in frame 3. So 2-1. This is the last frame before the interval. 6 is the number required for a place in the final tomorrow. Tonight, it's Judd Trump going for a hat-trick of German Masters titles this weekend. That's never been done before since this tournament got underway in 2011. Standing in his way, Sam Craigie playing in his first ever ranking semi-final after a great performance last night over the defending champion Ali Carter, whom he beat 5 frames to 1. So a big occasion for him this evening. It's a big occasion for all four because this is such a wonderful place to play snooker, particularly when it's just the one table. Real hairs on the back of the neck standing up stuff for these two matches. And of course tomorrow we go to the best of 19 over 2 sessions, the first of 10 to be crowned champion.
Got to be careful if he plays off the bunch here that he doesn't push anything close to a pocket. Playing as thin a contact as he thinks he can make, I would say. Red has come out. Have to be a little careful on that shot on these quick cloths. Balls can go right over the hole. Not careful. And Jiahui, when he's right, does put a lot of long balls. They're not quite going in yet, and he's left a red to the middle. So the first player in this fourth frame, potentially a very significant frame, is Kyren Wilson with an opportunity. I think the bottom red of the cluster will pot. Got the red to middle as a backup.
Five.
Played that nicely on that bottom red there. That's say the one he had the option of playing from the previous shot on the green. Just pushing through the bunch here to the black, the opposite corner.
11.
Very nice. Could be away here. Good chance.
Eighteen. Nineteen.
He's gone with the bunch. I'm not sure what goes, if anything. You know, you are chancing your arm playing that shot. Made good contact, though. As you see, the cue ball didn't veer off and hit a cushion or anything. He stayed in the centre of the table, but I don't quite see where his next red might be coming from. He's going to have to play safe. A decent safety shot at that. Just the thinner, it's the thinnest of edges available here. Oh, goodness. He hit too much of it. Maybe not very costly, but as you can see it here, he had to hit a very thin edge and came very close to that right corner. Has to be careful to avoid hitting something on the way back up here. Oh, he hasn't made it. He has not done so. But again, it may not have been so bad because it's tough cueing over the top of the yellow for that red. He'd like to play the red just below the blue ball. So Kyren forced into the safety shots, cue ball round in behind green and brown. Can't remember exactly how many of those he potted at the crucible into that right corner, but there were a lot of them. Just like that. Now he can lay the snooker.
Jiahui, 1.
Not the best table with the black and the red tied up on the right, so even a chance wouldn't guarantee Jiahui won the frame. Nice pot though. That was all about pace, that shot, and he hasn't quite hit it gently enough to lay on top of the red. So he got some applause for that shot, Kyren Wilson, but it was very hard to think that he could keep it safe, just dropping onto the red. Now this is a good chance for Jiahui, the best probably he's had in the match.
As you can see, his pot success pretty modest at the moment. That's clearly got to improve, but if he could get out of this mini session at 2-all, I think he'll be delighted. He hasn't really produced his form as yet. Kyren started very well.
7.
Yeah, icebreaker of just 34 so far. Jiahui, of course, you're going to have to
8.
improve on markedly.
$14. 15. 21. 22.
Well, it's a smattering of applause for almost every shot, and some of these are quite easy.
$28. 29.
Things are getting more difficult now. Not a bad shot. He just brought both reds into play.
35. 36. 41. 42.
Well, he can move the red out, I think, here. He's got to try and get the red and the black out. Got no choice. Needs the red to bounce away from the cushion. That's nicely done. And, well, the crowd, they've clapped almost every shot in this break, even basic shots, so we're always going to be appreciative of that one. But as you can see, the other two reds are very much required. Jiahui's not really had a chance to do anything with those yet. Oh, they're a plant of any kind along the cushion. What's he got planned here? It's good effort. It was hard to get the cannon on the two reds. A bit across to the right, perhaps too far. So he's made a handy
54.
break. 54, highest of the match, but he hasn't clinched the frame from it.
Jiahui, 54.
Very well crafted, not quite a frame winner. But by a distance, his best contribution of this semi-final so far, but still in the balance. $31 the lead, 43 there.
And that is a shot that's worthy of a little smashing of applause, because I think he's covered the two reds. Yeah, there's not much room there. Micah Kessler having a look down the line of the shot, because she might have to make a replacement. That's the reason she's doing that. Cuba might have to go back there if there's a miss from this shot, which there could be. Playing the two cushion glance. Yeah.
Foul. Miss.
Whether he takes it or not is another matter, because it's frame ball at this range, and this is the kind of range, as I say, when he's right, he just knocks these in for fun. See Jiahui, whether he's quite in that form today yet, I don't know, but he's going to have to play it.
Yes, those 6 penalty points were important. It meant C could completely concentrate on the red, and it looks as though he's going to emerge from this little mini session level pegging, and he'll be certainly the happier of the pair about that. Kyren Wilson has looked the stronger. Made a break of 97 in the opening frame. C looked a bit nervous. No break to speak of really before this frame, but he dug out the previous one, helped by some more penalty points. And barring something remarkable, he's going to win this one as well. And that absolutely settles it. So we'll start again after the interval. It's going to be a best of 7 from here for a place in the final. Jiahui has got to get over that mental hurdle of not having beaten Wilson before in 4 previous attempts.
12.
Delighted, I'm sure, though, after the crushing disappointment of what happened at the Crucible in the end, to be back contending for a title again.
15.
And there are signs that his confidence is beginning to build.
19.
54 break was well taken. It wasn't straightforward.
24.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did well to make that break, and he's done well here. So this is the best he's played so far.
13.
Nicely done by Jiahui. He's very much arrived in this.
Thank you.
Here we go then.
Frame 5.
The second half of the
Jiahui
first
to break.
semi-final here at the German Masters. Jiahui breaking off in frame 5. 2 frames apiece. Their 5th meeting. Kyren Wilson has won the previous 4. 3 of those have been pretty emphatic. 4-1 at the Gibraltar Open in 2020. 5-2 on his way to the European Masters title in August of 2022. And a whitewash victory at this season's European Masters.
Well, that was not without risk, that shot. He could have left the red that he played, and obviously he has left a cutback red to the opposite corner. But I suppose he felt that he would get it beyond the black. Jiahui's not interested in that red on the black spot. Playing the red to middle. I suppose he is going into the bunch from it, I understand. Needs to get this one though, because I think he'd get the other red. Very good shot. That really well played, actually. To get out of bulk comfortably.
Definitely signs in those 3rd and 4th frames that C was beginning to settle into this match. He looked quite nervy and tentative early on, but beginning to show some of that snooker that got him to the Crucible semi-finals.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a fairly simple cue action, which is not a bad thing, trust me, to be able to a cue action that's not got anything complicated or a lot of trigger movements going on in it. Bottom line is he does get through the ball well, and that is really everything at this game. He'd like to get the red off the black spot, the one just above the black where it's currently situated. That's the one he's playing on. It's a good shot to play on that one.
9. 10. 17. 18.
So this immediately looks better than what we saw earlier. He kind of found a way of getting to 2 each without ever playing anywhere near his best. That's a nice shot.
26.
Very well controlled, screwing off that bunch without screwing across to the left cushion, which is easy to do on that shot.
$33. 34.
'Just got himself topside of the blue, but where is the next red coming from? He's got to drop it in and finish short on that left-hand red because nothing else from that right side appears to be on. Just queuing down the ball to hold the cue ball, I think, instead. It's okay, although it's not an easy shot that he's left with, actually.
39.
Can he reach it? Because he seems to go quite great lengths not to use the rest. I mean, he's played a few left-handed shots. He stretches on others, but this looks to me not reachable without the extension on. Don't know if he's not very proficient with the rest. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. I don't think of anything that happened at the Crucible in that brilliant run that made me think he wasn't any good, but he's stretching here to avoid it. Unfortunate to push the red in the way of the black, I think. Unless it's gone far enough where he can pop the black. Yeah, he can, or he can get through all right. Looking a little bit of a different match now to early on when he was scratching around a bit.
Most definitely, yeah. There's been a shift in momentum. See, he's playing a lot better now. Perhaps Kyren Wilson has
48.
lost his way a little after those first 2 frames when he looked much the stronger of the two.
$55. 56.
Yes, he's never really been in prime position in this break. You know, he started off okay, red to middle, and the black spot was never quite free for a long period of time. But a bit like that break he made to level at 2 all, that 54 break, it was good without ever
63.
being perfect positionally. He just kept potting. Sort of almost a Judd Trump style break, and this I think is quite similar in that regard. Not perfect cue ball control, but he's still potting them. He's extremely talented, isn't he? I mean, he hits the ball so nicely.
71.
The cue ball just zipped around the angles there. Now the left-handed shot. Frames all he won. It's looking a different ball game.
72.
Kyren Wilson looking just a little concerned now. This is going to be 3 frames on the spin for his opponent. And not just that, the way in which C is now queuing. This is reminiscent of what we saw in Sheffield at the end of last season.
80.
His best run this season, before arriving here in Berlin, was actually in the shootout for Jiahui.
87.
Made the quarterfinals. We mentioned that extraordinary match that he had with Kyren in the 1 frame format. So nothing particularly special since what happened at the Crucible until this week. And of course it very nearly ended at the first hurdle in qualifying against Liu Haoshan. Potentially one of those snooker sliding doors moments if he goes on to lift the Brandon Parker Trophy tomorrow. 4 down with 5 to play in the very first round. And now a century.
Yeah, and really well appreciated. It's been a terrific break. Yeah, I mean, 4-0 down in the qualifiers just pre-Christmas. You're not going to Berlin, are you? At 4-0 down when you go for your 15 minutes. You're just trying to get a frame back. It was against Liu Haoshan, fellow Chinese player. Good player. So he's done a miracle to win that match, and now he's reaping the rewards. The break might end here because of his awkward cube all over the top of the blue, but I don't think it matters either way. Crowd would love to see a break of 138 if he cleared. But they're just loving life being here, seems to me. Great atmosphere in here. There's a lot of snooker to be played in this match still. Oh, that's gone in as well. How about that for a shot with the spider?
113. 116.
I think he'll get a standing ovation if he clears up. Such is the appreciation of the skills of the players here.
125. 131.
What a fantastic break. Brilliant stuff. A 138 total clearance from Jiahui, his 48th career, his 4th of the week.
Thank you.
So a 3-frame burst from a revitalised Jiahui, a superb 138 break just now to lead Kyren Wilson from 2-0 behind by 3 frames to 2, but still a long way to go. First to 6 for a place in the final tomorrow. Judd Trump and Sam Craigie coming up tonight from 7 o'clock UK time.
So they're very appreciative, the crowds here in Berlin, when there's a good shot played, but there's a wonderful hush when the tension ramps up or when someone's on a shot. You're going for this, queuing down on the ball. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic, and that is what he does. So we're seeing some of that form that we saw at Sheffield, which came from nowhere. Don't forget, he was a qualifier. He could have been the youngest ever world champion had he won. And he had 1 foot in the final, 9 frames up. Whether he'd have beaten Mark Selby, of course, we'll never know. Look Luca Brecel, who came back from 9 frames down, did so.
It also shows the value of a scrappy frame, doesn't it, that you fall over the line in. The third one could have gone either way. At that stage, C was struggling a bit, but he just about managed to piece together enough points to win it. And since then, he's been a different player.
Yeah, he can be hard to hold. I think he's in that
6.
mindset now. Bit of what we saw from Sam Craigie last night. And really, this is what the game needs, you know, a 21-year-old coming through. We have to see more youth in the game. We need almost a Luke Littler, who, of course, is a tremendous darts player, who got the final of the World Championship at age 16. Now, snooker has got
7.
great champions, but we do need more young players coming through. And Jiahui at 21 could be that man. They've always been talented young players, but the actual breakthrough is what's key. The rest of it is just doesn't mean anything until the results come.
12.
Red to middle, black goes to the left corner.
At
one stage, C's potting success was down in the mid-60s, but now he's propelled himself into the 90s. Kyren Wilson's been going in the opposite direction. He's now at 87.
That's okay. Didn't pot the black cleanly, but he shifted 2 reds away from the one he wants to play.
20.
It's all falling into place right now for Jiahui.
For a young man, he had a certain swagger about him, didn't he, during that sensational run at the Crucible? He didn't look remotely fazed by reputation. Played a lot of top-class
26.
players. Sean Murphy, who'd been in great form. Anthony McGill, who's got a fine pedigree in Sheffield.
27.
And for 3 sessions was bossing Luca Brecel. And there's just signs of that kind of approach again this afternoon in the last 3.5 frames. Looking like a man who expects to win.
He's really unlucky there if he's not on an easier red than that one to middle, because look how he played this. The key ball fizzed out and back into the bunch, which is usually a good sign. But this red's quite an acute angle to middle. Not much pocket to aim at from here. Really good. Very good once again. And I thought he just rolled it in, but he hit it quite firmly. And that was a better shot than it
38.
looked. It's one of the few shots that didn't get any applause, but it was played almost to perfection with topspin off the green.
39.
Well, we've been sort of suggesting the final, but most likely permutation is Kyren Wilson, Judd Trump, those old foes from going back to the junior days. But I mean, of course, it could be that that man won't be in the final.
44.
It could be Jiahui and it could be Sam Craigie. It would be a tremendous occasion if it was. I'm not saying he'll beat Judd Trump, but
45.
that would be kind of a shot in the arm, I think, for the game.
Well, this is a gilt-edged chance now, which Jiahui has created to win his 4th frame in a row, and this must be a little bit scary for Kyren Wilson.
52.
He's only scored 40 points since
53.
he took a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Yes, he's not potted the ball since a long way before the mid-session interval as well.
60. $61.
The crowd, as always, alive to the situation in the frame. They know that was frame ball. The red to make sure, and he's absolutely flying now, Jiahui. Racing around the table. Suddenly everything looks easy. The long pots have started to go in. Very aggressive in his approach. A little bit intimidating when he plays like this.
Seven to 7. $82.
Well in excess of 300 points without reply now for Jiahui. Kyren Wilson has been completely frozen out since he had a modest lead in frame 4.
Well, that's right, isn't it? He was 24 points to the nil up in that frame.
83.
91-24, 138 from C in the last frame, and now this. So he is completely cold and helpless in that chair, which is the game. You can't do anything when your opponent is knocking them all in. Whether he knocks one in here remains to be seen.
90.
I'm not sure what he can actually get to. He is an incredible long potter, but this one is going to test him.
Tremendous stuff this from Jiahui. It's been a real blitz, and Kyren Wilson looking a little shell-shocked as he heads for a bathroom break just to try and regroup, because Jiahui has taken a firm grip on our first German Masters semi-final with some of the snooker that harks back to his crucible semi-final run. 2 outstanding breaks of 138 total clearance and 90 just now to go with the 54 that he made in the 4th frame. Well over 300 points without reply. Kyren Wilson, not surprisingly, heading off for a bathroom break and perhaps just to gather his thoughts, because he's been hit by a bit of a runaway train since he led 2-0. Still plenty of time to come back, of course, but Jiahui is playing some fantastic snooker and thoroughly merits his 4-2 lead. Can he keep going? 6, of course, is the magic number for a place in Sunday's final. Judd Trump and Sam Craigie coming up tonight from 7 o'clock UK time. Well, there are many Kyren Wilson fans in the house, but that one rather more vocal than others, and it's brought a smile to Kyren's face for the first time since frame 2, I think. He's looked a little glum in his chair. He's been completely outplayed in the last 4 frames. Well, certainly the last couple anyway. Frames 3 and 4 were... Certainly frame 3 a little scrappy, and it was a vital one actually that Jiahui won, because at that stage he was rocking and Wilson was threatening to perhaps run away with it, but that certainly hasn't happened. He's not had many shots of late, has he, Neil? So those kind of attempted pots are that much more difficult.
Well, that's very similar to 2 frames ago when he went for this same shot, missed it the same way, and that was his only shot, because on that, Jiahui knocked in the break 138, almost the identical break and follow-up shot. He potted a red to left middle. Slightly difficult, different shot to this one. This is more difficult, I think, if he plays it. But there's a lot of unanswered points here. 319 points unanswered, although it might be about to come to an end. So Kyren Wilson finally something to go at. It was early in frame 4, last part of the ball. Here we are in frame 7.
That was a very difficult red, but C, unsurprisingly, backed himself to get it, given the way he's cued in the last few frames. This time, though, no joy. Now, what can Wilson do with this opportunity to re-establish himself in this semi-final?
Three. Four.
It looks fairly straight on this black. Almost dead straight, in fact, just a very slight angle. I don't know if he could do anything with the 2 reds above it. It looks a little straight for that. Just try and bring them into play. Well, he is on the red, but again, cue ball is edging into the bunch slightly in potting it, so he doesn't know for sure where
11.
anything's going to finish. If you're not into the bunch, into the reds directly above the black, so positionally it's not a straightforward shot he's playing here. Goodness me. That's the problem, isn't it? You just don't know sometimes where the balls are going to finish and you chance your arm.
12.
And now he's in a bit of a scrape. What does he do? The only good news is
Pink
that the
ball.
red didn't go up the table.
Sorry, green ball.
If the red had gone up towards Bolt, then he'd had no shot. Now he's nominated green, which he might well hit.
Foul.
I don't think it's
Miss.
a sort of shot
Kyren
you want
Wilson,
it put
12.
back very much.
Jiahui, 4.
If he has his put back, it might be an error. Because Kyren could roll up behind it. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Kyren could play this well, roll up behind the green, and then snookered Jiahui. Then you've got to make a very slight adjustment, and that might be the outcome.
Green ball. Foul. Miss. Jiahui, 4.
Got to play it this time, because in the end he will get the shot, and he will be end up snookered. So he's going to have to try and knock this in, see. I think he must have slightly decelerated there. Any spin he had came off the ball, because I'm sure he played around the back of the black and to put it in the same pocket as the red, but the spin that he put on the ball had kind of died off by the time he reached the red. So he's not on a colour, basically. That's the upshot of it. Very important frame now, though, isn't it? I mean, obviously, the sting has been slightly taken out of the Jiahui attack, really, where he's won 4 in a row. So Kyren really has to win this frame now because of that. That's not a good shot. Had to be steering
Jiahui.
well clear of that
Come on.
red and blue.
Oohs and ahs from all directions at the moment. What a huge frame, as Neil mentioned. This is, what a difference between 4-3. Wilson right back in it. 5-2 down, no room to manoeuvre. 3 down with 4 to play.
Yeah, of course he looks across at what he's left. I think he might have left that red. Yeah, it will go all right. He can reach it. At first, I think Kyren might have thought that he'd got away with one there, but sometimes I think where you're sitting at the far end can be a little deceptive. This is a worry because, like I say, it's not been a frame that was similar to the previous ones. But it might go the same way as the previous ones. Because he's all over Kyren Wilson. Last hour or so of play.
7.
A little bit longer even. At the moment, Kyren has no answer to this.
Eight.
Now, how many can he make? I mean, we know he's had a total
13.
clearance, but I think a situation like this, if you can make 50, that would be a very sizable, meaningful contribution.
14.
Just get through to that red by the pink.
18.
Again, not a lot of room to play with, but there's enough.
$19.
I think he must have played on the blue there. He's overscrewed. He's hitting the ball almost too well at times. Timing is up close. He's very good. Saying that, this time, of course, it was almost a heavy contact.
22.
Like a dead white there, in contrast to the previous shots. But he thunders in the next ball as ever. And that was ever so well played. How far can this break go? Can it go to the point of no return for Kyren in the frame? Still got a lot of balls to pot for that to happen, but he's in a good place right now. His confidence is fully restored.
28.
A little subdued at the beginning of this match. Playing on the main table. Incredible ovation both players got.
29.
Maybe it was all too much for him, but he's in amongst it now, right?
And that brief smile that we saw when one of Kyren Wilson's most exuberant supporters cried out in support of him at the start of this frame has gone again.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a very avid fan, but there was a hint of
35.
desperation in the cry, wasn't there? for Kyren. I think he knew it because he hadn't potted a ball for 300 odd points. And he hadn't potted many since either.
And he really will have his work cut out if C can now convert this chance. 33 to the good.
Well, he wanted to avoid that red, but he had such a small amount of it. It's not so bad, although
41.
he'll need a piece of the action of those 3 reds below the pink, and they're all completely tied up. So there's more to do. Couldn't play up on the blue because, of course, then the pink's in the way of the reds. He needs an angle just off straight on the pink. Do you know, I think he might be perfect there. Can he nudge the reds into play? Or is there slightly too much angle? A little straighter would have been better. If he drops it in, he can just get the bottom red dislodged, I think. I think that'll do him. Still got to give it his full attention. Frame ball again. What a burst this has been from Jiahui. Not only from 2-0 down, but especially from 2 each, I think. Since the mid-session interval, he's been very, very good.
The third frame, he won unconvincingly, but crucially he won it because he was rocking a bit at that stage. He was being outplayed himself. And then he managed to put together that awkward half-century on his way to 2 each. And, well, since then, as Neil says, he's not looked back. He's overcut that one, I think. But he's 52 in front with only 43 left. Kyren Wilson's going to come back. He needs 3 snookers.
Quite a good shot from Kyren there because he used all the pocket. And of course, getting on the pink and getting the Jiahui in behind there, he's got a cast iron snooker, you feel. What's more important would be where he's going to be able to get the red. If you can get the red up by a bolt colour laying up against it, then the free ball option comes into play.
Seven.
So you kind of feel that the snooker's almost guaranteed from here, but the red, he wants that to be close to a colour at the other end. No good, I'm afraid, on any count.
Kyren Wilson,
How can
7.
you miss the snooker? There's a trademark Jiahui long red, and that's another frame gone. And he was 2-0 up, don't forget, Kyren Wilson. And none of these frames have been in any way close since then.
Has been very dramatic about face this match from 2-0 and being outplayed. Jiahui has moved into overdrive, and Kyren Wilson at the moment has no answers.
9.
And remember, he's on the cusp now of achieving something brand new in his career, a first ranking final.
13.
Having spent the past few months perhaps exercising the demons of coming so close to
18.
the world final and having it snatched away from a position of seemingly unassailable strength. But it's all part of the learning curve, a steep one in his case. But how well has he played from 2-0 behind? 5 frames on the bounce now from Jiahui, and 1 away from the title match here in Berlin. Kyren Wilson. Is Jiahui about to appear in his first German Masters final, his first ranking title match, or can Kyren Wilson produce a twist in the tail and a 4-frame burst of his own? It's a long way back from here, but as we know, he will not quit. He is a terrific match player with a great temperament and a great determination to make his opponent earn any win. So he won't give it away, but at the moment, Jiahui on the crest of a wave. He's just played superbly since trailing 2-0.
Well, I must say, I thought you might knock that in as well, because he's been knocking so many in. That was probably the most difficult of all the ones he's tried, because the key was going to career into the bunch, but Kyren is in first. He needs to do something a bit sharpish.
Six. Seven.
As usual, it's not the easiest of tables, and of course, I say as usual, because when you
10.
lose a lot of frames and a chance comes, there's normally something quite difficult about positioning of the balls, and that's the case here. Black's tied up. He's gone a little too far. He's not perfect. Yes, he's on the yellow, but he's sort of skirting around getting these balls into play. I think he'd like the red away from the pink spot, so then he can play the pink freely.
Thirteen.
So the red on the pink spot I was speaking about is the one he's going to play here, and it will open the frame up if you can get the pot and finish nicely on the colour. Drifts too far again, so perhaps small value colours continue. You're not really getting away from Jiahui in the frame on points, taking the low value colours. Not a very good shot to hit the pink on the way through, but it's turned out to be okay.
16.
I guess one thing Wilson will be thinking about in his bid to overturn this hefty deficit is the fact that Jiahui might be thinking about that Crucible semi-final, having come so close to winning it from a big lead. It's obviously a different situation today, very different number of frames. But 3 up with 4 to play.
22.
Will one or two of those bad memories from his match with Brazil resurface if Wilson can put a bit of pressure on by winning this frame.
Well, it's not out of the question, is it? Because, you know, he went from everything to nothing in that semi-final. Jiahui, he was just scintillating. And sort of what we've seen today for basically for a couple of days in that match, and then the wheel fell off, basically. Brazil was good, and he was less effective. So you're right, you know, it could turn around again this match, but Kyren's going to have to play up there with his best form if he's going to make it happen.
29. Thirty. $36. 37.
Well, I think he's just about to play on the last of the reds that are in open play here. And then things are going to be a little bit more complicated.
42.
I think there is a red, actually. The 4 reds, the red directly above the black, will pop to the left corner from behind it. And also, as you can see, that top red on the right, does it go past the other one? I think it might well do. So, because he took the yellow a couple of times early in the break, he hasn't made that many yet. Needs a little bit more. Well, don't think that's a very good shot, is it?
49.
It's a terrible shot. You want to do much straighter on the red. I don't even know if he can pot it very easily. He knows it was a poor shot. Lost the cue ball there. And now nothing goes, and it was quite basic to finish on that red above the black.
Kyren, 49.
So, first break of any substance from Kyren Wilson since he led 2-0, but not a frame-winning one. Albeit that at the moment the reds are awkward for counter for Jiahui as he goes in behind the green, not quite a snooker.
No, but the balls are actually becoming slightly easier to pot now. And that's completely against Kyren. That red's been taken off the cushion, he had no choice. He's got a 49-point lead, but he's open to the counter-attack. Not impressed, is he? Because he knows he's got to keep things very safe from here. The break he made was all hard work, balls in awkward spots, black tied up. Now, nothing's really that difficult. see Jiahui even applauded that shot because it was a very well played safety shot from Kyren Wilson. He's got to avoid the double kiss here on the way back up, using a bit of left-hand side to try and avoid it. Well done. That's a good safety shot as well, goodness me. Not something I necessarily associate with Jiahui's game, but what a good shot that was. It's a winnable frame, even from 49 behind.
Wilson could really do with a colour glued to a side cushion, something to give him some insurance in case C gets in next.
He needs a bit of cover. He has to cover that red. I don't know that he has. Yeah, can get through right.
So, chance for Kyren Wilson to stem the tide, keep himself in the match. Not great on a colour. Still 67 on the table. So he's going to need a couple more reds to make the frame safe.
Of course, the other thing he could do, he could put a ball on a cushion, perhaps, if he doesn't see a pot. I think he's going to put the brown on the right-hand side cushion here. It makes sense.
Kyren Wilson.
Not quite achieved it, though. I tell you, if he's left that red below the black, that's a poor shot. Got a feeling that he's left enough of the red out to pot this. The black's almost a guide. I reckon this goes. And as I say, the brown is not even safe. So that last shot of Kyren's did not achieve its goal. Good pot, but nothing to go with it. Be looking to, if I could, to try and just separate the green and the pink ball here, just because if you think about it, if he does get another chance, they're both tying each other up to that top right pocket. Not sure quite how you do it, but I wouldn't want to leave the two balls there if I had a way of moving them. Playing, I think he nominated to be brown, wasn't it? It's not the worst shot at all that he's played. I think maybe he might be hindered slightly by those two balls being where they are, if a clearance is possible. This has gone badly wrong. He needs help. That's all right, it could have been a lot worse. It was a big misjudgment. The red's gone almost as far as the cue ball.
Another big mistake, a double kiss, and this time Kyren Wilson has not got away with it.
No, and to be honest with you, it's not a good shot to get the double kiss, because you know it's on, or you should know. Well, he tried to get the black in play, and I think it was a very fair shot to try and play. And while the sort of points are running out a little bit, he can still win the frame, and certainly with the black on, he's not out of it. But it's just not going to be at this visit again. What's the most worthwhile shot that he can play here is the question. I don't think he wants the brown to stay where it is, so he might as well try and move it in safety if he can. It's not helpful. Green to brown is virtually impossible where they are if he is going to clear. Is he going for this blue? Goodness, this is really difficult. Oh, goodness me, that's a ridiculous shot. That is a ridiculously good shot.
Had he missed it, it would certainly have been
6.
5-3, you would have thought.
What a shot this is.
Reminiscent of what we saw at the World Championship last year. Absolutely brilliant, fearless, long potting.
Well, we saw Sam Craigie knocking a blue, queuing awkwardly into the same pocket from the spot last night, and both of those two shots were as good as you'll ever see. He's really playing well again now, and I don't know what he's going to do about the green and the brown here, because they're going to cause
14.
a big problem at some point.
15.
There's no way around this unless if he can pop this and get on the last red and then screw back to get on either pink or green. Because unless he does something like that, I'm not sure how he can clear. It's going to take some shots to get green, brown, blue in sequence. That he's thinking about maybe playing the snooker later on, but it's not really how he tends to think. Snooker on the green's a possibility, but I'm sure he'd like to just clear them up now.
30.
It's almost like he just thought about the problem that's facing him just to get this frame and match one here.
No,
it doesn't look to be any good. There was not a lot of room to maneuver there. It's finished in probably the worst place because he couldn't even play the snooker if he wanted to from there. Really get into the cue ball either way. Oh goodness me, what sort of shot is that? He's tried to get the snooker in a strange way. He's not done it. Anyway, the only other thing to say is that Kyren still needs the brown.
Kyren Wilson back at the table, hanging on to his dreams of a second German Masters title by his fingertips at the moment. 2 balls away from extending this semi-final.
Well, that's not very nice, as far as Kyren's next shot is concerned anyway. Got to avoid the double kiss again here. There's 2 or 3 other ways he could get the double kiss. And that's one of them that was on again. And he seems to just ignore the fact that it's on. He's done it twice now. And you need a lot of luck, because you lose control of where the balls are going to finish. Anyway, it didn't really penalise him that much.
Not quite a snooker, I don't think. Just about get through to the edge of the green. Getting on for the longest frame of the semi-final now at nearly 24 minutes. Will it be the final frame of the semi-final?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, clearly Kyren has got the advantage because he's 17 in front, but he does need both of the 2 difficult pots, obviously the green, because there's still a safety battle, but then he'll need the brown as well. So there's not a huge advantage he's got. Considering he was a long way in front at one point, made a break of 49 at the start of the frame, which was quite hard work. Looks pretty good.
He's certainly been able to mix it today when safety has been in play. In fact, he's well ahead of Kyren Wilson in that regard.
Playing the swerve, he can't be sure of anything here. The problem on that shot, unless you catch it full on, and it's not an easy shot, green to brown. But Jiahui sometimes makes the not such easy shots look exactly that. Screw the green in and go across for the brown. Tough. Just got to prove he can get over the line in such a big match. We know all about the World Championship semi-final and the fact that he didn't win it when he should have. I don't think there's a problem. I think he will, if the chance comes, get this match won. Well, how about that? He's not even gone for that. Not really achieved a great deal in refusing it, though. I don't know why he didn't consider potting it and playing first safety shot on the brown. It wasn't a particularly effective shot that he played.
Needs this to run, which it just about has.
Yeah, I always felt it would just go past the middle pocket. I think he wanted the cue ball a bit further across to land him behind the pink. Going to miss it. To miss it on the thin side is absolutely fine. Not got the snooker, not entirely. It's little swerve anyway, and it's very easy access to the green ball. Cushion first. Now that pink going quite a way away from the black, that certainly has not done him any harm, Kyren Wilson. Makes any possible clearance that a little bit more difficult. He will have to travel a lot further.
This is now, by a distance, the longest frame of the semi-final. And still up for grabs. Little shake of the head from C. He's tantalisingly close to his first ranking final appearance. th shot on the green. 10 minutes we've been on this ball alone. Now then, where's this ending up? Right over the hole. Kyren Wilson does need the brown as well. A pained expression from Jiahui.
Yeah, he does need the brown, you're right, and that's the problem he's got. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win the frame here, unless he can pop the brown straight after it. He's a very good rest player, as we always speak about. That suggests that he might win the frame if he can pop this. I expect he will. Can he possibly get to it? An extension on his cue? I'm sure he will need the rest. tricky one, this. It's missable. Can hit it to the first jaw, leave it over the pocket. I'm not saying he will, but it's very possible he could.
Seems like a long time ago that Wilson made his first break of any substance since he led 2-0. He'd lost 5 in a row, but this to make it 5-3. And he's played it well. He gave it every chance, just dropped it in. And of course, had he missed it, he was bound to be leaving it, but he's got it. And his fans are delighted about that. So 24 in front with 18 left. 2 snookers for Jiahui.
Kyren Wilson, 7.
That's what he could do. He could pop the blue and leave him 1 snooker on the pink and black. More likely outcome. You know, the black, where it's placed, is not great for getting snookers. If a pot did come along, you might think about that, because it's still 2, as Philip said. Good effort, this. This is very good. Oh, that's a terrific snooker. It really is.
Well, as you say, his run to the Crucible semis and very nearly the final was mainly about the blazing potting and break building, but we've seen another side to Jiahui's game, and Kyren Wilson, who's in all kinds of trouble, nevertheless acknowledging the quality of that snooker. Bags of room around this blue, so this is very missable.
Very good effort, but there's no miss would be called,
5.
because it was at the snooker's required stage. I thought he played that quite well without hitting it.
Still the 1 snooker required. Jiahui wants this match finished here and now.
Well, it may be a snooker, but you would like to think that Kyren will hit it off 1 cushion. Very difficult there. Those shots, the bed of the cloth so quick, you can easily slip past the target ball in behind the black as he tried. Kyren Wilson showing Jiahui how to get one. And of course, it's not he that needs a snooker.
think the lion's share of this crowd want this match to go on beyond this frame. Well, that's one way of getting out of a snooker, but of course he's now only got one ball to work with in terms of getting the snooker he needs. Kyren Wilson affording himself a smile.
Yeah, and of course with the black away from the cushion or in sort of somewhere towards the middle of the table, it's not so easy to get behind them from here. You can imagine all the good efforts you would make where you just would slip past the angle again. So now, of course, Kyren can put the pink in or over the pocket. That's the other thing that makes it very difficult on pink and black to get snookers. Don't get one early, you probably don't get a second chance.
This frame has lasted 3 times as long as the average frame time for this match, but of course things are getting very serious now. See, so close to victory. Kyren Wilson looking to keep his hopes alive. Very, very difficult, as Neil says, with the black where it is, to get a telling snooker. I recall when Jimmy White did it to Cliff Thorburn in the Classic final back in '86. The black was out in the open. He played a brilliant snooker. Cliff missed it, and White potted pink and black to win the final in the decider. But surely we are going to go to another frame.
Like it, doesn't it? I mean, it's hard to think what you do here. One thing to put distance between the two balls. To think you could get a snooker is hard to envisage, really. Now, Kyren surely just dropped this in or over the right corner. He needed to win a frame. It didn't matter how he won it. It's not been a spectacular one.
It hasn't. Nearly 38 minutes in length, but finally Kyren Wilson stops the rot and keeps his hopes alive. He's still got much to do, but the 5-frame winning burst from Jiahui has ended. He's still one elusive frame away from victory. 2 up with 3 to play. Kyren Wilson for the players to return ahead of frame number 9 of a possible 11. Can Kyren Wilson prolong this to at least one more in his bid to win 4 in a row from 5-2 behind to get back to the final? Of course, he was champion in this tournament back in 2019 when he beat Dave Gilbert 9-7. He was behind in the final session of that one. Jiahui battled for all he was worth. He got one of the 2 snookers he needed. But we go again, frame 9.
Terrific pot. Cue ball not going anywhere that is particularly handy for him. He'll take this on though to the middle. This is these are clearly missable from there. Well, he really fancied it. He didn't even hesitate to play it. It's a terrific shot. Really good shot. As I say, a shot that could comfortably be missed.
5. Ten.
Well, he's not happy at all. He's not on anything, I don't believe. He'll be annoyed by that because chance is not coming all the time, and that's a dreadful shot. That is a dreadful shot as he left the red.
Kyren Wilson, 10.
Jiahui was out of his chair quickly. He's followed up a bad positional shot with an even worse shot, actually, on the safety. Can he get through, though, is the question. He's a bit lucky, if not, Kyren Wilson. There's quite a big target ball now on safety, where the blue and the green are. Somewhere in behind there. The thin contact here would be a nice place to land.
What that previous frame has done is just interrupted the rhythm that Jiahui have built up in irresistible fashion with those 3 very quick frames after the interval from 2 each. Still got to win the most important frame of all, the one that carries him to his first ranking final. And he knows that Kyren Wilson is going to make it anything but straightforward for him. But he's found a red. Picked out a plant.
Yeah, and that's got him in early in the frame, isn't it? Just off straight this. Just pushed through down for a red, and now with the black safe, I have noticed quite a lot that he is very good at making breaks, not necessarily with the highest value colour in play. He can
3.
improvise, but the blue's also very awkward where it is, so he hasn't even got that ball to fall back on. It's only the pink. So this have to be a very good break around the pink spot. Just looking if the pink spot is indeed free, or will it go up onto the highest available, the blue? I think that's the case. Obviously now the red that's on the pink spot is going to be potted, so next time it will be back on his own. important positional shot to play here. Now the pink will go back on the spot. He's got to make sure he goes low enough. Land behind the red. Yeah, that's fine. So he's only got one colour to play on here.
17.
That's the difficulty.
$18.
Could have done with being a touch straighter on his next ball. If he was right behind the pink, it would be so easy to play position, but he's just slightly going away from the reds, the angle he has on this. Seems to have discovered that there is a red that pots there.
24.
While it's not that damaging at this stage, 3 or 4 more red colours will be for Kyren. Oh, he was very, very lucky there. Wow, what a result
25.
that was. He's actually brought both reds into play. This was an out-and-out fluke. Crowd, I don't think, saw it. Not all of them.
It's incredible, this sport, isn't it? So much of it is about precision and extraordinary skill, but luck certainly plays its part, and it did there.
Yeah, I mean, the red just flew in, didn't it? Almost as if he meant it. Clearly, never in a million years was that the case.
32.
Yeah, he held his hand up straight away, but he'll be secretly delighted because it's taken him that little step further towards his goal.
Yeah, he's occupying the table, he's chipping away at points. Now whether he can actually get the match one here or not, he is starting to put a bit of distance between himself and Kyren in the frame. I think he can just about reach this with his opposite hand.
38.
Don't do anything too sloppy. Might be a good idea to get the long tackle out here. If you're really stretching too much, that is. Well, he doesn't look remotely comfortable, does he?
Yeah.
Time to move on. It's not perfectly on this pink, not really. Because he's got to hit it with a bit of pace to allow himself position on the next red, which means the pot itself becomes missable.
Jiahui, 39.
So the pink goes astray. More encouraging cries for Kyren Wilson. Get close to that one, really. $29, the deficit. Still bags of points there, but as it's been throughout this frame, the black's surrounded at the moment, so not easy to make a break. Blue and pink also off their spots. Not an easy table.
Clearly no pot attempted there. 29-point lead. It's quite a handy lead still. But going back a few shots, Jiahui chose to play that little nudge on the two reds in the bottom left corner. That's when he couldn't reach it, and he got the long stuff out, didn't get on the pink. Gradually things ground to a halt as far as that break was concerned. Kind of kept Kyren Wilson in the match.
Well, the black now in play.
Well, that'll do him for now. Series of very thin safety shots here by both players. Just pushing these reds further and further across from right to left. I wonder if that's a possible plant there, those two reds. The top. I think you'd have to hit the first one on fairly thick contact onto the second one to make it into a plant. Yeah. Bad shot. He could have done with that cue ball. Well, I was going to say going in to the left middle there, but it depends greatly on whether this red passes the black. Kyren might have been quite lucky there. Half a pocket. I mean, it will pot, obviously, but you know, the chances the cue ball just hit the red and the red will clatter into the black. But it certainly goes. Let's see. Tough shot into a full pocket, never mind half a pocket. Brilliant. That is very, very well played. He only had left side to go at.
Is that the key shot? There's still some awkward reds to negotiate.
There was a real illustration, though, of the accuracy these players are able to attain. I mean, he could only pot it off the left jaw, and that's exactly how he did do. And, would have not looked very good had he went into the black.
He's annoyed because he's slightly out of position in terms of staying on the black here. He's got the pink.
Yeah, but I don't know what he did play there. I mean, if he could have been high on the black, yes, it would have been fine to open the reds, but he's not on the cushion. He's basically just going to take the points here, it seems, which is fine. Come in handy. Might also be a thought about putting a ball safe instead of taking the bottom, because at the moment no colours are safe.
38 the lead with 59 left. He's going to take the 6 points, it would seem. No, he's not.
No, I think he's... I never understand why players do that and don't actually guarantee that the ball does go safe. No, there's nothing wrong with the shot because he's got the snooker, but it's an easy roll-up, I think. But if you're going to solely try and get the ball in the cushion, I think you've got to get absolutely nailed to the cushion. It's not really completely safe where it is. However,
Jiahui 7.
that was not very good. I mean, problem is, can't keep hitting the black off these. He's run out of points if he does.
Yeah, Jiahui is now potentially a red and a colour away from victory, barring snookers now.
Can we check it, Tatiana?
Basically what he's doing, he's saying that he's not sure
Okay, it's a
how
third
much
of the
of it he
ball.
could see. So in other
way.
words, he's not looking for any advantage. Tatiana
touch
Wollaston is
more.
the marker. There she is.
Yeah, looks good now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, he's got it safe, but what I would say is that Jiahui has got a shot here to go around the angles in behind green and blue. It's a good shot once again. He's bossing the frame. I mean, there's no doubt about that. 25 points means he's very close to falling over the line. And if he is to win, you just think of that burst of frames, 5 in a row, but especially from 2-all. He really turned the heat on after the mid-session interval.
.45 the lead with 59 left.
Well, he decided to do very little with that shot. The red up the table was going to be an awkward pot anyway. He'd taken zero risk. I suppose he's thinking, well, I'm 45 in front. Over to you, Kyren, to turn this situation around.
Be back.
Well, that's a very optimistic question to ask. 45 points in it. Very good from Kyren, I like that. The re-rack that is not happening. Ever.
Well, he hasn't lost his sense of humour, and he's not lost the match yet. Jiahui is so close to that finally he can taste it, but he's still just a few points away from making it happen, as he was in the previous frame, which Kyren eventually won when C ran out of balls to snooker in behind. It's not a great table at the moment for a counter-attack from Wilson, but that can change quickly. Bit of a waiting game for Kyren Wilson to see if he can engineer a possibility to get back into this frame whilst ensuring that he doesn't give his opponent the chance to get the handful of pots he needs to secure victory.
Yes, I mean, the three reds, it's a very awkward situation because Jiahui's not going to want to move them, and Kyren can't afford to move them and leave one on. So, it's a precarious state this match is in, but he might have a little good dart at this one. It's not a straightforward angle, but he might just think that if he can pop red-black here, then he's almost there. If it was straighter, I'm certain he'd go for it, and I reckon he'd get it. I think he can afford to take it on. Not at pace, because the red could rattle and go along the cushion and move the three reds out. But red-black means Kyren Wilson needs a snooker. Little surprised he never went for it, but you know, I think we ask of young players to become someone that learns the game and not just be potters, and he certainly wants to go further with his game, refusing shots every now and then. Again, he's had a good shot. Kyren desperately doesn't want to have to roll up because that's no use to him. This is what he's looking for. A way to get to the three reds. Well, it was a big target, but it was a very hard shot to get the balls open there. So,
5.
bottom line is 40 the difference. Still a warm favourite, Jiahui, and he has refused a couple of long balls, which might have already won him the match.
Kyren Wilson, 5.
Well, there's applause, but I think Jiahui can get through to the potting angle, and I think Kyren Wilson knows it. 40 in front. There'll only be 43 left if he can pot this, yeah. He was right to be worried. Well, there's the cue ball. Oh, goodness.
Well, that helps. Any colour is really what he wanted, but now that that's not really going to happen, I suppose he could roll the green onto the side cushion and snooker behind the blue or something like that. Snooker would be one that had to get hit. Yeah, I can't fault that shot, and this time he's nailed it to the cushion. Advantage, and a big advantage to Jiahui. He's basically got 1 foot in the final because Kyren's got to hit this.
And in the process, not develop the red so he can pot one. Absolutely on the cusp now. Jiahui of his first ranking final.
Yep. And you know, you think of the disappointment he felt at Sheffield. He was 9 frames up against Luca Brissell, which has never been overcome in all the crucible history, all that almanac we see. Nothing like this ever been achieved before. That's a terrific shot. Brilliant. He's not in the final here yet either, because that shot has just about kept Kyren Wilson in with a hunt.
Typical Wilson, really giving it everything in a bid to keep his, at the moment, very faint hopes alive, but he's going to make Jiahui earn this, just as he did in the previous frame. But it would be a big Rubicon to cross, wouldn't it, for Jiahui, as you say. A heartbreaking loss from such a position of strength, not only 9 in front, but within 3 of victory. And he couldn't quite do it, and he's going to need his fishing rod for this one, I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's any equipment long enough to... you're literally one end of the table to the other. You have to put an extension on the extension, I think. Crowd are loving it. I mean, this is as far across you'd have to ever reach a ball, I think. Played in great spirit. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but Kyren has been, even in this situation where he's on the brink of losing, he's been having a few laughs and jokes. He's done himself proud, actually, but he mightn't be in the tournament much longer if he's not careful. So that's handy as well for Jiahui, the red going on top of the black. All of these things are in his favour. Yes, because Jiahui lost in that match we're speaking about earlier, and the Crucible, but you know, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. He might end up a better player. He's not had a particularly good season, but the talent is overwhelmingly there. Surely this is not going to go in off. That's not... I was going to say, I don't think Kyren would have deserved that. Hopefully it hasn't quite ended that way.
Had it done so, of course. Great expression. He would have needed a snooker to stay in the semi-final. As it is, he's clinging on. Just.
Not a very good shot, but it's quite interesting where the balls have ended up, because we had a half-an-hour frame on the back of a long previous frame, but now if you're going to pop this red, where's the colour? Without a colour, you can't win. Play a good shot here to get on the black. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. That is brilliant.
He's showing a lot of mettle here, isn't he, Kyren Wilson, which is not unusual for him at all, but from the absolute precipice of defeat, he's just about keeping his hopes alive here with some gutsy play.
Well, you look at the table now, and of course it's just the green ball, isn't it? That's the only obstacle, really.
Which Jiahui pushed safe just now in snookering Wilson, and at that stage he looked red-hot favourite to clinch the match in this frame. But if he were now to lose this frame, well, then we've got a match again.
He's going to have to take the pink. Oh, is that it? That's no good. It's no good to him. He can only take the blue, which means you could only tie the frame in this. Well, maths have gone a bit haywire. Yeah, that was a bad shot. Well, the shot he played, not getting on the pink, was a poor one. And that one was even worse. I don't know if he tried to knock the green out. He got a little bit scrambled there at the end.
I think this missed blue partly the result of realising that he was going to need a snooker, even if it had gone in. Now he needs 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, he could have tied with the blue going in, but that in itself was a sort of almost a defeat, wasn't it, for him? Because he couldn't have won it without an extra ball, and he missed the blue anyway. But as I said earlier, you know, the middle frames of this match, Jiahui was quite devastating at times.
Undoubtedly the best burst of snooker he's produced since his Crucible heroics from 2-all to 5-2. And now absolutely on the cusp of victory. It's felt as though he has been for a while now. Kyren Wilson has given it everything in a bid to hang on in there. But missing the blue just now seems to have sealed his fate. 34 behind, 25 remaining, so it's 3 4-point snookers from here for Kyren Wilson.
Yeah, these are the kind of balls he knocks in all the time when he's playing well.
Jiahui, 2.
He'll keep battling away for as long as he can, and it's definitely been a positive week for Kyren Wilson after what has been a difficult season for him. His first semi-final of the campaign, but of course, having got this far and having played as well as he has to get this far, he would have hoped for much more. But he's run into an absolutely back to top form Jiahui this afternoon. From 2-0 behind, he played quite superbly to win 5 in a row, and that's what's really broken the back of this match. The last couple of frames have been a real battle, but surely he's done enough now to get the win. One more pot to absolutely seal it and to break new ground.
Well, that is going to be that. And unsurprisingly, the feature of this victory is Jiahui's long game, which has been outstanding, as is the case with Judd Trump and Sam Craigie in the other semi-final. They're both great long potters, so the final's going to be some spectacle, isn't it? Whoever comes through this evening.
Kyren Wilson's going to battle on for what it's worth. It's looking pretty forlorn now, though. 37 behind. 4 snookers required. That wasn't part of the plan.
4.
Well, he can get in behind the pink here, potentially.
Yeah, but there's always a question of the blue going up the table on that shot.
Kyren Wilson, 4.
Because you've got to hit it so hard. I don't think he's getting anywhere with any of this. can safely just roll this over the pocket now. I mean, there are times when your opponent needs a snooker, you would not roll the ball over the hole. But this is not one of those. He's not rolling it, but he could have done. Been happy to see Kyren pop the blue. Effectively, this match feels completely over. 3 snookers to tie. I just don't foresee any of that happening, but I suppose it will never happen if you don't try and make it happen. Pink's not in the worst place for getting snookers, but he's left it on, so this could easily be it now.
Yeah, I think there'll be a handshake for sure if this blue goes in. What an afternoon for Jiahui. And a giant roar from the crowd. They know the game's up this time. Very nearly. Kyren Wilson offers his hand. A special moment in the career of Jiahui, who reaches his first ranking tournament final to bury the disappointment of what happened in the Crucible semi-final last season. He has comprehensively outplayed Kyren Wilson from 2-0 behind to win 6-3.